Okay. Okay, so let's start. So except one group, I had reviewed the homework of 9 groups, and I'm really impressed. Some groups have done very good work. So the homework assignment, just to review, just choose one of the following problems and answer the questions. In your country, is there health inequality in this health problem by social group? If so, what might be the causes, and what kind of public policies do we need to reduce social inequality in health? And what obstacles and opportunity may exist when you want to advocate some public intervention? So I am told that there are 5 groups, and then further divided into 10 groups. So Group 1A choose smoking in Brazil, and Group 1B, CVD, coronary heart disease in Honduras. And then Group 2A and Group 2B choose occupational injuries in United Arab Emirates, and obesity in Morocco. And then Group 3A and 3B choose alcoholism in India and occupational injuries in Indonesia. And Group 4A and 4B choose alcoholism and focusing in Russia. So apparently this is a very important issue. So we really look forward to the presentation of these 2 groups. And then 5A, what's the topic of 5A? Obesity in South Africa. Obesity in South Africa, okay. And 5B, smoking in South Africa. So I divided into the following. So, okay. So can we start from smoking, and then following by obesity, CVD, alcoholism, and the last will be on occupational injuries. So obesity, this one would be 5B. Okay. So Group 1A and Group 5B, please come here. And then we will have these 2 groups present, and then we will make some comments after the first topic on smoking. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group 5B, and we chose the smoking issue as a cause of health inequalities in South Africa. So my partner is going to give you a brief introduction of our presentation.
Okay.
During 5th century, Europe is at the age of exploration, and Europeans took control of the African countries, and they introduced smoking to local residents. Okay, and the consumption of smoking has been rising continually. And the trend has even reached a level where smoking-related diseases rank second in South Africa's major public health issues. 125 die daily due to the smoking alone, which adds up to 44,400 deaths a year. In South Africa, smoking habits are dominated by the blacks and the whites, and the smoking-related health problems affect the non-white community 3 times more than the white community. The reasons that lead to the serious smoking habits are illegal drug usage, poorer health care, and the lack of education they accept.
Okay, so what might be the causes for this? The reasons that there's a high rate of smoking in South African population may be due to the stress and the easy access to cigarettes, also the neighborhood influence, and lack of education. For example, lack of education. Many people smoke because they don't have enough knowledge of the health damage smoking causes. In habits in South Africa also contribute to the high rate of smokers. So what public policies do we need to reduce the social inequalities? We thought of some, such as rising taxes on cigarettes, the enhancement of public awareness, like, improving education on what smoking causes, and then also selling restriction policy, like not selling to minors. The package display, like more marketing on the health issues, and also public restricted smoking areas, and supporting the NCAS, that is the South African National Council Against Smoking, so getting them more involved. What obstacles and opportunities may exist? Some of the obstacles we thought of were there may be some lack of interest from the population. Also, not strong enough persuasive message, or not efficient enough policies or regulations. Of course, the opportunities are less smoking-related diseases for the population and improved environment. Thank you.
But this group has done a very good job, and very clear and very strong to us. So, and they had identified the lack of education and also easy access to cigarette smoking because of low cost. So they have the public policies corresponding to the problem they have identified. And then 5B will also talk about smoking issue.
Hi everyone, we are Group 1A. And the problem we discuss is smoking in Brazil. And the data research said that among the rich people in Brazil, 11.5% out of 100% smoke. And for the poorest population in Brazil, 18.6% out of 20% smoke. And we think the causes is that the constant pressure exerted by a lack of monetary means. For rich people, to smoke is like a symbol of style, like having cigars or pipes. They are very expensive and an expression of class. But for poor people, they may do it to release their pressure from life. And the public policy we think the Brazil government should do is can promote educational campaigns to underprivileged individuals by providing detailed health information, raising a price on tobacco products, and make it more difficult to purchase. And we think the obstacles they may face is that because Brazil has been relying on tobacco industry for their economy for a very long time, so if they just effect the price of the tobacco, the economy in Brazil will be significantly affected. And Brazilians who are already highly addicted to the nicotine would oppose to the idea. But the opportunities is that by eradicating tobacco as a cash crop, these public policies can also bring out new opportunities to their finance. And that's all.
So, according to their report, tobacco industry is an important industry in the country. So it makes it difficult for the government to promote the tobacco reducing policy. Okay. Then, so any comments from the audience? So let's move on to the next topic, obesity. So Group 2B.
Okay, everyone, our topic is about the obesity problem in Morocco. Typically, well, obesity is a problem in most developed or developing countries. We take Morocco as an example. The overall obesity level, well, the standard here is a BMI. It's a BMI, for the BMI which is equal or above 25, we call them obesity. Okay, so in Morocco there are 12.2% of people are obesity. So, and if we separate them by gender, then there are 5.7 men and about 18% women are obesity. And most of these obesity people the standard of their education or the economic situation are overall lower than the middle class. And and also there are some example from some special ethnic group. Take how do we say this word? Okay, Sahrawi people, for example, in their culture, the more, let's say, the more weight you have for women, the more weight you have, the more beautiful and more desirable you are in the man's eye. So their obesity problem seems to be more serious than other Morocco. So what's the causes of this problem? Well, in our opinion, the main causes of obesity in developing country is because of the changing in social and economic structure. Back then, the poor people have to rely on their own food production. And it's really thin. The amount is really unstable, but it's rather healthier. But now, after the structure developed, most people live in city. They have to rely on mass production food, which means more easier gain calorie and more easy gain bad fat, such as saturated fat and other kind of sugar gain by drink or the meal. This causes make the people which has lower educational status or economic status to has more chance to get calorie. So yes, it's the main causes of more obesity. And for those special ethnic group, their situation tend to be more serious since the whole structure changed, and this structure combined with their own culture, then the situation will only become worse. So how do we gonna prevent this situation? In our opinion, the way to stop or slow down the trend of obesity is to, first we need a clear sign and warning about the nutrition in food products. If we want people, they will have more chance to realize that what they are eating. And this kind of policy is running in most developed countries, but not in most developing countries. And second, the food production structure must be changed. So the people can buy fresh food, not mass production food in a lower price. Anything want to?
The obstacle is the traditional cultural values for women looking at fatness as well-being. It's an obstacle for policy campaign for fighting this cultural value. But the alternatives is we can educate them in the lower for primary school or secondary school. We can educate the cultural value. So there is a chance for us to fighting the problem.
That's all. That is all. Thanks for you.
So your written report seems not be completed yet. So because in your report you only address issues up to possible causes. So there's no public policy dimension in your report, and there's no final question is not answered in your written report. So according to this group, they say that the socio-economic condition is the main cause, and also the cultural value in terms of the beauty of the woman might be the cause. But we know that that kind of cultural value has been existent for a long time in the history. And so why it continues to be the cause here in Morocco is not very clear. Okay, so any comments from the audience or from the TA? No? Okay, so the next group will be group 5B.
Regarding to the topic of inequality in health, our group is focusing on obesity in South Africa. The idea of the presentation comes from an article saying South Africans among world fattest people. Before the 20th century, obesity was rare. However, in 1997, the WHO formally recognized obesity as a global epidemic. Actually, it usually happened only in high-income countries, but recently obesity rates are rising worldwide and affecting both developed and developing countries, and this also includes South Africa. According to recent research, 21% of South Africans are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. Even worse, 17% of children under 9 are overweight. However, some statistics shows that this only happened to the blacks in the South Africa. Therefore, we are focusing on the health inequality of obesity by some social factors, and this includes gender and ethnicity. Talking about gender, overweight and obesity are now the most prominent features of malnutrition in South Africa. 2 out of 3 women and almost 2 in 5 men are currently overweight. And from this bar graph, this is showing how the men in South Africa compared to other countries. As you can see, the rate of South Africa is actually in average. However, when we look at the graph for women, you can see that South Africa's rate is actually higher. This is another graph that shows a clear version of the comparison between females and males in South Africa. So we can see a health inequality for telling more females are suffering obesity than males. Next is ethnicity. So scientists have made a study on black and white female students, and then they found out that over years, the percentage for the blacks has increased from 6.5% to 18.5%, while the whites only increased from 0.8 to 10.7. In conclusion, there is a small increases in overweight in the white over 50 years, contrast to the high percentage of overweight people in the black. Some causes that we found out is urbanization and globalization. Second is socio-economic factors, cultural factors, perceptions and beliefs about body weight, dietary practice, and physical activity. So in order to solve the problem, we came up with 3 public policies, and the first one is advertisement through media. Most of the South Africans believe that being fat is a way of showing they are rich, lucky, and mainly healthy. However, this is a wrong idea because obesity has been found to reduce life expectancy. So, therefore, the government should invest more on advertisement of healthy diet on nowadays media such as television, computer, website, and radio. If we are doing this policy, then some possible obstacles that we will face is most of the 75% of the black women between the age of 18 to 65 who are obese in South Africa are most likely from the tribal areas, which means that they are most likely not able to get in touch with media. The next public policy is to promote sport activities. As we all know, South Africa is a sport-crazy nation. However, not everyone is participating in sports physically. Therefore, sport activities in South Africa such as surfing, running, and soccer should be more promoted so people can have a healthier body. However, if we are using this policy, then the problem is it's really pricey. For example, Soccer World Cup 2010 has put South Africa in a serious debt crisis. So if they're now having another sport festival, then they should increase their economic first. The last policy is to have fat tax. Fat tax regulates the consumption of all food that includes saturated fats by charging it an extra tax. However, most of the people are in poverty in South Africa, so in the long run, it could cause poverty increase, crime increase, or even a civil war. Although those obstacles seem really hard to overcome with, but then obesity is really a serious problem that can cause many health diseases such as cancer. So it's really important for us to improve obesity in South Africa. Thank you.
So at the end, she proposed fat tax. Do people know what fat tax is? Or do you want to explain a little bit more what is fat tax?
The fat tax aims to decrease the consumption of foods that are linked to obesity. A related idea is to tax foods that are linked to increased risk of coronary heart disease. Numerous studies suggest that as the price of a food increases.
Yeah. Thank you. That's very good. So people here in Taiwan, people in our government are also talking about fat tax. But personally, I kind of against that idea because it kind of punish people who have certain kind of dietary pattern. And that kind of pattern, like, is related to socio-economic position. Some poor people like to eat unhealthy food, but not because they are less concerned about their health, but because they are kind of conditioned by the social environment. But there are other people who say that this is too much emphasis on social environment. Individuals should also have some responsibility in the health policy. So there is some debate. So any comments on? Please. Is there microphone? 有没有麦克风？ Very good. Very good. So I really encourage people to speak out. The student here say that some people cannot afford buying healthy food, and in some communities, fresh vegetable or fresh fruit are more expensive compared to unhealthy food like hamburger or some fast food. It's also true in Taiwan, actually. If you go to some aboriginal villages in the mountainous areas, it will be very difficult to find fresh vegetables. So they do not have a convenience store where you can buy fresh milk or fresh things. they only have some small shops, and they provide some like sweetened drink or some snack, which is very unhealthy. So it's also true in Taiwan. So if we propose flat tax without taking into consideration of the social environmental factors, that will have some problem. Okay. So other comments from the student?
From the introduction of our classmates, just previously, that in some southern African country, obesity is a kind of beauty in the eyes of their culture. But we all know that overweight is a threat to human beings' health. Should this kind of customer be respected in our society? I know, is this obesity their right to in their culture?
Your question is that obesity is not really a problem, right?
In their culture, that obesity is a symbol of beauty, and it's a long time that they follow this custom.
Okay.
Should we respect their
Okay. Yeah, this is also a very good question. So obesity has not become a problem in the history until recently. So why? So we problemize this problem, and we also like stigmatize some people who are a bit overweight. So why it is a problem? As long as people are healthy and they can move, they have the good fitness, they are a little bit overweight, what's the problem? So that's very good. So the question is why we make obesity as our enemy. Obesity can cause many diseases, yeah, and they will become the burden of the society. Yeah, obesity does increase the risk of many diseases. So based on the medical evidences, this is a health problem. But we still need to respect some people who choose to be obese, right? Or they prefer obesity. Many students from all different countries, so they provide different perspectives. So let's move on to next topic. So we will have the three groups talking about alcoholism in India and Russia.
Hi everyone, so we are group 3A and we will be presenting about alcoholism in India. So alcoholism is a major problem in India. The sales of alcohol have been growing at a rate of 8% in the past 3 years. And although officially Indians are still among the world's lowest consumers of alcohol, there are statistics that show only 21% of adult men and about 2% of women drink. But up to a fifth of this group, which is about 14 million people, are dependent drinkers requiring help. It shows that the alcohol consumption is not evenly distributed among the population. So it is, the alcohol consumption per person is actually quite low in comparison to other countries due to religious and some political reasons. However, the alcohol consumption that does occur has been increasing due to the kind of alcohol that the Indians drink, and the type of behavior that they typically do is of the high risk kind, and this is when they do a lot of binge drinking and frequent heavy drinking. And approximately 75% of alcohol consumption occurs in eastern India's rural areas where the poor live. And for so we got 5 causes for the alcohol problem in India, and one or like the difference in the alcohol problem. So the first one is religious beliefs and a difference in the caste system in India. So there are some states and union territories in India that are dry states, which means that they do not legally sell alcohol. And there are also some religions, such as Buddhists and Jains, who are strict vegetarians and they're actually forbidden to drink. In addition to this, many women in conservative sections of India's society also believe that there is a taboo with alcohol consumption and young not. And the second cause for the alcohol problem is lack of information or like problems with the education system, because many of the Indians do not know of the harmful effects of alcohol. The three is adulteration of alcohol, and this is mostly an issue in the poorer regions, and this is when the alcohol that they buy is actually a poorer kind, and it's usually mixed with other ingredients that can be harmful for the body. And the fourth point is ineffective alcohol regulation policies, and we'll discuss this later. So the fifth point is a lack of trained professionals who treat alcohol abuse.
About a public policy prohibiting and regulating of alcohol sales may reduce the problem. For example, imposing age restrictions on alcohol consumers and increasing taxes on alcohol. And the second one is helping the poor in India. Helping the poor in India can help get rid of alcoholism, because most of drinking occurs within the lower income and end of the population. Having negative income tax, which means tax revenue from the high-income households will be transferred to the low-income households, and creating income transfer, which will ensure that the poor get what they need. Both of them can help the poor in India get rid of alcoholism. And if the lives of the poor were to improve and they were to get educated about the harmful effect of alcohol, the rate of alcoholism has a high potential to level off. And about the obstacles may exist, revenues and corrupted government system are included. Enforcement of an alcohol policy is the responsibility of India's individual states, because alcohol taxation is the second largest source, accounting for nearly 1/5 of state revenue. Individual states in India has been slow to enforce an alcohol policy. This, along with a corrupted government system influenced by alcohol lobbyists, has resulted in a slow progression of alcohol policy, and this problem still remains be solved. And that's our presentation. Thank you.
So let's have the following two groups make the presentation, and we can compare whether there is a difference in terms of the social inequality in alcohol problem in India and Russia. Okay, hi everyone. Well, we're from Group 4A, and our topic is alcoholism in Russia. So here's a brief introduction. This is a very interesting topic because Russia is actually a pretty well-developed country, but then the consume of alcoholism is very, very high for certain reasons we'll explain later. So Russians consume approximately 18 liters of alcohol a year, which is more than double the 8 liters that is considered life-threatening by the World Health Organization. And it influences the overall mortality, crime rates, and social behavior and legislation of Russia.
And alcohol abuse is responsible for more than 52% of death, with more than 12% of citizens dying from alcohol-related disease. Here are some social, gender, and income inequality statistics for Russia. 30% of Russian men drink at least once a month, but only 1% of Russian women have the same problem. 9% are non-alcoholics, but 35% of women do not drink. Women have an average life expectancy that's 13 years longer than men, and low-income and unemployed men are more dependent on alcohol.
So some of the causes might be that because the Russian government actually encouraged alcohol because of the profit that it made. By the 19th century, approximately 33% of government money came from the sale of alcohol. And due to the plummet of vodka prices in the late 19th century, it became choice drink for low-income citizens. And even until now, alcohol remains cheap relative to other items such as food or other things in Russia, and it is available in most places day and night. And some major causes in alcoholism is due to stress, which is experienced by many Russians following the collapse of communism, which resulted in enormous social and economic changes, which also widened the social inequality in Russia. Yeah.
And here we come up with some policies which might reduce the problem. One is that criminal punishment for alcohol production and sale violation. For instance, like that, we tell the alcohol salesman that not sell too much alcohol to people, which might reduce the production of alcohol. And the next is the price policy that control the price of alcohol, such as raise up the price of alcohol, which is obviously we can expect that the alcohol consumption will reduce. And the last one is to promote health lifestyle. For instance, like put a picture of a liver which suffer from cirrhosis, which is a viral disease of the liver, and remind people that it would be unhealthy to drink too much. And however, there might also be some obstacle we might encounter when we do this. First is alcohol consumption has become a habit. It's more like a cultural thing in Russia. So it will be difficult to change the people's mind that drinking is bad and anyway, no. And what's more that the current economic crisis nowadays, you know that just like in Taiwan, that people will get more stressed and as well as in Russia, and which would make people rely more on the alcohol. And this is our presentation.
So the proposed policy include criminal punishment of alcohol sale. What does it mean? Punish the criminal punishment.
The criminal punishment refers more to the crimes committed after alcoholism, because the second part is actually, it can be separated into 2 points. Like one is the criminal punishment for the people that committed crimes after drinking alcohol, and the other one is perhaps we can limit the amount of alcohol a person buys every day.
Okay, so to punish people like drunk.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so another group is also going to talk about alcoholism in Russia.
First off, hello to the class, and I'll be honest with you guys. I'm very nervous now, actually, because the last group did so well with their alcoholism in Russia presentation, I'm a bit afraid that this one will be boring and actually not as realistic. But here we go. So the last group was actually talking about the alcoholism problem in a micro level. Things seem to be separated into two kind of things, right? Macro and micro. They were talking about all things and phenomena and solutions in the micro level. And we're going to talk about this in the macro level. MACRO, macro level. I'm going to time myself so I don't make you guys fall asleep if I exceed 5 minutes. Okay. All right, and here we go. So we're going to start with a few fact checks. Okay, you see the content, right? We're going to tell you a few facts we found, and we're going to tell you what are the causes, and we're going to tell you what can we do about it, and if we're going to face obstacles or opportunities. Okay, according to statistics, 20% of this country is actually below the poverty line. That means that there are really needy people. There are 13 million people under this line, which means this country actually has a very big gap between the rich people and the poor people. It is the third country of having the highest number of billionaires, which means that there are a lot of rich people in this country, and there are billionaires. And the government did a survey, and there are roughly so many alcoholics in Russia, which is actually a very stunning number. And the survey also showed that there are 16 liters per capita in a year, which means this is actually the fourth highest globally. It means that a lot of people are drinking alcohol, and not just drinking it, they're drinking and having it. And these alcoholics, actually, a lot of them fall under the poverty line. So, we're going to do an analysis about what caused this problem. And we're going to separate it into 3 factors. The first one is social relation. So, the theory here is that you drink more when you feel isolated, when you feel you're a lonely person. If you have a lot of friends and you are you're a party queen or a party king, whatever, you have a very good life. You don't drink that much actually because you don't feel stressed out. But if you have a very nervous, strained family relationship, you drink more because you feel that your life needs something more happier. And so the social isolation will lead to more alcohol use. And this one is actually very interesting. We all know that Soviet Union was destroyed after the Second World War, or World War II. But the destruction is not exactly a very good thing because it actually made the social welfare lower for many people. You don't get the social welfare from the government anymore. So the people under the poverty line became more needy. They became worse off. So this kind of relation actually urged people to drink more. And notice the word here is binge drinking. It means that they drink very happily. They do not stop. And there's no limit to how much they drink a day. Another problem is education. With all respect, but the more thing you know about alcohol, you drink less about it, or you feel more fear from it, because education will tell you that alcohol is not really a good thing. So we have an article here that shows us that education actually affects how much one drinks. Ooh, I'm actually over time, but okay. Yes. So all of our data were from the article. That was an essay written by a professor. Okay, so gender. Gender is another actually very obvious issue in this phenomenon, because men drink more than women. Okay, I'll sum this up in a more understandable way. For example, if you are talking to food, then you drink less. I'm honest, with all due respect to all the family in the world, yes, you drink less if you stay at home being a lonely woman. Yeah. If you have more social lives as a woman, you drink more because you have to drink. Because the other people in the party drinks, you have to drink, of course. That's the politeness, right? But men drink whatever, regardless of marriage. This is very interesting. Another fact we found in that essay we found online. I'll show you later. So, what can we do about this alcoholism in Russia? We have to promote education. This sounds very, abstract, but an education promotion means to enhance the education system in that country, which means have more people be aware of what they are doing in their everyday life. And that also increases the social mobility of these people, making them able to switch from lower places of the society to higher places, meaning that they will drink less because they feel they are more important in the society. And we're going to establish laws against alcohol. Again, this is a very abstract sentence. How do we do it? Of course, we can see in this picture that Russia is actually trying to ban alcohol sales in many regions. The government knows. And we're going to apply luxury tax to those above the poverty line. How do we do this? It's actually very simple. If you are too poor, yeah, that's a fact. If you're too poor, you don't have to pay tax. And if you are above the poverty line, you pay tax. And if you buy luxury goods like Louis Vuitton, those brands, you pay tax. And this tax will be used to support the needy people of society, making them better off. So they will be richer. They don't have that stress. So they will drink less because they feel better about their lives. And we are going to tell you a very fancy public solution. Again, I have to give you a warning. This is not a policy. So it's a bit off the question, but it's a very interesting solution. You have the choice to believe the story or not. There's a difference between story and tell, because we cannot believe the tale. Okay. We're going to link you to a very interesting website. Okay, again, as stated in this topic here, we're going to solve a problem by creating a synergy between organics and synthetics. Alright, this is a very fancy topic. How do we create synergy between organics and synthetics? That's crazy, eh? How do you merge robots with humans? That's it. Alright. I'm sorry for the delay, yeah, because I talk too slow this time. Internet help. Alright, during its loading, I'll tell you about a story. A micro machine will be instilled into a patient's body part between the legs. Yes, I'm serious. It will be inserted into your foot. And when you drink, a certain kind of toxin will be released into your bloodstream from that machine. And that toxin is going to hurt you because it is a toxin into your blood. We have a full news here. You can check this out. Remember this link. Okay, you can take notes on this link. And check this news if you want to. But again, you cannot, verify it's true. But again, we have obstacles. National balance is going to be spending is going to be very astronomical. And vodka as an alcohol drink is a national tradition of Russia. We're going to face challenge from people because they think you are challenging our tradition as Russian people drinking. Drinking is a noble thing. How can you enhance laws against it? But we have opportunities too. The high mortality rate raised to you by the 13.4A 16 or something, no, 52%. They are caused by alcohol, and it's pretty high. People might be aware of this, and we are going to have a chance of spreading this to their heart. Thank you for listening.
And then you said that housewives are lonelier. And that's true, right? So we have a lot of happy housewives. And then you said that drinkers tend to be more isolated.
Yeah, it's actually shown in the.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'll show. So I have time to show that.
Can I ask that which department you are in? Which
Economics.
economics?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the article we grab our ideas, concepts from. So here we go. So relations. Yeah. Okay, you see. In this part of the article, here talk about the difference between men and women drinking, and women tend to drink only when they feel isolated themselves. So, from this paragraph, and
Very good. Okay. So very nice. So other comments?
One study, and other studies that like it's so different things. So
Okay.
it's good.
Yeah. So social context important. So a social relationship and alcohol consumption, the relationship is not consistent. It depends on the social context. Okay. Other comments? I found that the students are much more fun. Okay. So if not, I think we should take a break. Let's take 5 minutes break, and let's have the final two groups next presentation, and we will sum up with occupational injury problem. Okay. So in this exercise, I ask you to think about whether there's health inequality, social inequality in health problems, and then I also ask you to think about the possible solutions. So when we want to propose some public health intervention, first of all, you have to identify some causes. And if you really want to propose some policy changes, then you will have to do some activities. So in School of Public Health, we teach how to promote public health issues, and we teach how to get involved more effectively in the process of decision making. So how to get involved in government and how to promote your issues become important issues. So before the presentation of the two groups, I will just explain a bit what it means by policy cycle. Let's enlarge that. So in order to propose any policy, public health policy, or whatever policy you may want to propose, you will first of all you have to enter the agenda setting stage. You will have to identify the problem, the health problem. For example, you have to emphasize the problem of alcoholism. You have to emphasize the problem of obesity, etc. So you have to make the problem as a public problem, and that will entail tremendous cost, social cost. So you have to emphasize your problem is an important problem. Then that is not enough. In order to promote the policy, you have to demonstrate that there are possible solutions. And then you have to consider political circumstances. You need to identify who may oppose your agenda, who may support. For example, some group has said that the government is making money out of alcohol consumption or out of cigarette smoking. So that is the obstacle. And then some other people may support your agenda. So at this stage, the agenda setting, in this stage, you have to identify the problem and make the problem very clear by demonstrating many empirical data. And then you have to propose possible solutions, strategies, and then you have to understand political conditions. Then we call the window of opportunity. When the window opens, then you may have chance to make your proposal pass through the legislation, like in Taiwan or in other countries, Congress. And then we have to also consider another phase, policy implementation. Okay, so in this exercise, I've asked students to ask you to try to promote your problem, and try to identify some solution, and try to identify what might be the obstacles and what would be opportunities. Okay, so people are ready for the presentation of the two groups. Okay, so the two groups will talk about occupational injuries. One in Indonesia, another one in India.
Hi everyone, we're group 2A and our mission is in the East. And today we'll be discussing about occupational injuries in the United Arab Emirates. For here I will be referred to as the UAE. Specifically, the occupational injuries and how they vary in the following social categories: gender, education, and occupational grade. UAE is a fast developing country enjoying a booming construction industry. However, even with its modern economy, UAE still suffers from occupational injury, which is responsible for most of the reported injuries in the country. Research shows that most of the occupational injuries are due to accidental falls, falling objects, cuts, and burns due to machinery and power tools. 98% of the injured are mostly between ages 24 and 44, implying that the remaining are females. As a category, men are more likely to be chosen over women in this construction industry, as societies dictate that men are more valuable in this line of employment. Gender inequality in this field is kind of a difficult problem to tackle and has no obvious solution due to the nature of the job. However, we will still be needing some solutions, which will be discussed later on, and to reduce these accidents. Okay, secondly, education is also influential for occupational injuries in UAE. Since different people are educated at different levels, their occupation will depend on these levels. In addition, the variation in occupation will directly affect the possibility of people receiving these injuries. For instance, construction workers on the construction site are more likely to injure themselves in contrast to engineers or managers with a higher education or occupation. But this does not say that the engineers or managers are completely immune to these injuries because they also visit the construction sites. However, it should be noted that their possibility of injury is much smaller than the workers of lab education. So here we will talk about under this premise we can observe that disparity and inequality of occupation injuries among different education levels. Even if education was improved, blue-collar workers will still be needed, and this is another problem of laborers in UAE, the occupational injuries of migrant workers. And so we will have my partner here talk about the policy and obstacles concerning.
Okay, I'm very nervous. Okay,
improving education to reduce the occupational injuries this side. So since we can't remove the cause of this problem, we should reduce damages. So there are three aspects to do on this policy. The first aspect is authority concern. The second aspect is employers. The third aspect is for the employees. Okay. For the authority concerned, they should ensure that all safety rules and regulations are followed at the factories, at the working places, and construction sites. And they should do constant inspections on factories to reduce occupational injuries. As for the employers, they should be taught how to improve the working environment. In addition, hosting fire drills, setting up safety nets, placing first aid kits, and etc. are necessary precautions. Employers should know how to draft SOP for handling accidents, such as sudden falls and etc. And lectures on first aid for employees to attend should be held regularly. As to the employees, they should learn how to deal with injuries when it occurs. And skills such as CPR and hemostasis, that's what you do when a person bleeds unstopped, and should be required. Standard regulations such as wearing a helmet in construction sites should be followed strictly. You can say that I feel lucky today and I don't wear a helmet. No. Okay, as for the obstacles for the policy, we have money problem is a common problem where you have to promote a policy, and resources, both software and hardware. We need lecturers to educate both employers and employees, and that's we need man resources. And as for hardware, we need healthcare centers to locate on healthcare centers so that people get injured, they can be sent to the healthcare center immediately to reduce the damages. As for the values, like you have to teach the employees, the workers, about the potential dangers on their construction sites. As for languages, there's about 68% of the occupational injuries occurs on foreign workers, and foreign workers are still a major issue in UAE. As for the opportunities, I just googled the UAE's labor union, and I just found that before 2006, labor union is illegal in UAE, and after some campaigns, UAE approved of unions to be established in 2006, and this is an opportunity for employees to make bargains with employers to improve their working place. Thank you.
Form the joint union of foreign workers. Okay. So in Taiwan, we also have many foreign workers, and they cannot join union. There's no union. Thank you. So okay. Let's have another one, another group from Indonesia.
And we're the last group. Yay! We are Group 3B, and the country we are going to discuss is Indonesia. In Indonesia, over 60% of the workforce works in the informal sector, which which means that they work for businesses that are not taxed and are not monitored by the government. Like in this photo here. This kind of work is not monitored by the government. The problem is that official surveys can easily overlook occupational health problems in the informal sector, which can be very serious, as we will see later on. Recent studies have shown that working women in the informal sector in Indonesia suffer more from common diseases.
For example, malnutrition, infectious diseases, high blood pressure, and malaria, vision problems, hearing loss, pesticide poisoning, anemia, and respiratory problems. This is because women in Indonesia often have to work 2 jobs to support their family. In addition to their household chores, this woman work as washing woman and seamstresses from a young age. Therefore, they have less education, less free time, and less health care, and their jobs bring them little financial rewards. Also, at their jobs in the informal sector, they often work in environments with hazards such as noise, vibration, heat stress, poor lighting, unsafe electrical wiring, exposure to dust and chemicals, and poor ergonomics. All of this cause health problems that are not accounted as occupational injuries and diseases in official sectors.
We believe that the most effective way to tackle this problem and improve working women's health in Indonesia is through education and making primary health care more accessible. Education can help women make better choices when they choose what work they want to do, become more aware of potential hazards, and know when to consult a physician. By making primary health care more available, working women can receive diagnoses earlier and begin treatment of diseases earlier, thus increasing the possibility of a full recovery.
In conclusion, due to bad working conditions in the informal sector in Indonesia, as well as the extra burden on working women, women in Indonesia are more susceptible to disease than men. And these occupational injuries they sustain are often overlooked. These problems may be solved through education and increasing the accessibility of primary health care.
We would also like to add that a clear majority of migrant workers in Taiwan working in the informal sectors are Indonesian, and the problems we have discussed today could also exist here. In fact, the Taiwan International Workers Association, or TIWA, has reported many cases where migrant workers were sent back to their home countries following occupational injury instead of being treated. The situation of Indonesian workers both at home and abroad is one that merits more attention.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you for the presentation. So all this presentation addressed social inequality in health, and I found common thing that many groups consider improving the overall social condition for the disadvantaged groups is one of the very important solutions. Okay, and the thing will become more complicated when we enter the new era of globalization. For example, the migrant workers are the most vulnerable groups among all the disadvantaged groups. Okay. So these are all very nice examples of. So really appreciate students' efforts in making good presentation. Okay. So in the following like 20 minutes or so, I will wrap up the discussion by using occupational injuries as the example. So before I start, I like to do some small exercise. And before that, the following section will address the relationship between work and health. And we know that work is important for many people. Work-related injuries or disease not just the problems among the poor people, but also for professional workers. Professional workers are also exposed to a variety of work-site hazards, and we will talk about that later. Okay. So why work is important to one's well-being? According to the Maslow's theory, work is important because a good job can secure our need at different levels. A job can provide us with some income and then some security and a sense of belonging, esteem, and sense of self-actualization. Okay. So I like to have the TA to help me to do some exercise. So just to understand the student's attitude toward occupational health and related social protection system. So to what extent you may support the government's intervention in terms of protection of occupational health.
So we are going to see your attitudes towards occupational health and social protection systems. So the first question is very easy. What do you think about a job? Do you think a job is just a way of earning money? Nothing more. So you can choose from 1, strongly agree, until 5, strongly disagree. Okay, let's see the result. 35.71% of us here disagree that job is not a way of earning money. There is something more. And 25% strongly disagree.
So for the first question, is job just a way of earning money? There is a very clear social differences. People who are from low income groups tend to consider job is just a way of earning money. People who are from higher social economic groups, like you, in the future you will become, most of us will become professional workers, and we will expect more from job, not just for money, but for something else.
The second question is, personally, you think job security is from very important, neither important nor unimportant, to very unimportant. Okay, 64% of you think that job security is very important. Next question. Do you personally think that high income is very important, neither important nor unimportant, or very unimportant?
Or if you prefer to choose a job which offers less pay but more secure or more meaningful, or you're more interested?
The percentage is important. Yeah. Personally, you think a job that is useful to the society is very important or very unimportant? Nobody knows your choices, so you don't need to answer according to social desirability. That you have to choose something that looks very positive. Okay, 75% think that a job that is useful to the society is important and very important. Next question. Personally, you think that good opportunities for advancement is important or not? Okay, 92%. is a little different than the previous questions. We will talk about from the employers. What do you think about the employer? Employer should limit workers' working hours in order to avoid working overtime. Do you agree? To avoid that the employees work too much, so the employer should limit workers' working hours. Next question is, once employer and employees reach a consensus on working hours, the government has no need to regulate working hours by legislation. Do you agree? When you and your boss agree on working hours, there is no other party who should regulate, who should intervene in the agreement that is made between you and your boss. 60% disagree. The last one. No matter whose fault, the employer has the responsibility to compensate workers who suffered from work-related injuries and diseases. Do you agree?
The questionnaire items you had just answered were items used in many national surveys conducted in European countries, also some American and also other countries. So it's called public attitude survey. And if we divided the results by socio-economic groups, then you can find that people's attitude toward work differ by their socio-economic position and also differ by gender. But it is commonly found that job security and high income are most important elements when people consider when people are choosing jobs, income and security. But in terms of whether you want to contribute to society by work, whether it is important for you to be useful to the society, the attitude varies a lot. Actually, not only by socio-economic position, but also by the disciplines. Like people in social science training tend to be more like inclined to that kind of value. Okay, and people who are in other extremes, they tend to prefer more competitive or more competitive jobs. Okay, so there are some gender differences and also differences by socio-economic status and also by discipline. Okay. So the final question we ask, you are asked that whether you agree or not that the workers and employers should compensate workers' loss. So can someone, because the opinions kind of more divided, so can someone say a bit more why you think that the employer should be responsible for workers' loss, and why some people think that it's too much burden for employers? Also, can anyone express your opinions on that issue, please?
If the employees get injured.
Can I go back to this?
If employees get injured during the working process, then it's obvious that the responsible is laid on the employers.
You think it's obvious that is employer's responsibility?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyone who disagrees this opinion?
I was thinking more along the lines of if you're forcing around and you're not obeying who you're supporting. For example, like if you have physics lab and like chemistry lab, if you're like putting chemicals together and then you create an explosion, it's not really the teacher's fault that the explosion happened. So like if it's your fault and only your fault,
very justifiable, right? If the workers have a lot of problems and make a mess in the workplace and they got injured, then why the employee should be responsible for that problem? So some problem may be attributed to workers' fault. So some other.
I think that the workers, the employees are still placed at a weak position compared to the employer. When he or she was injured in the workforce, they may face a great difficulty to evidence which of these responsible belong to. So to better protect the employees, we should burden the employers with responsibility.
Okay. So to answer this question, you cannot just say that it is obvious. The answer is still too simple. You have to prove why you think this way. So, for example, he said that because the employer-employee relationship is imbalanced, so employer should be responsible, should bear the duty for the protection of the workers' health. So this is another argument. Other
So it is that the employer is putting the worker into that dangerous situation. So he should take care of everything, giving the safety equipment, and even taking care of whatever mistake he makes. He's still gonna be at least insured for it. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whose fault it is, but how we know that the worker kind of after that is the one who cannot do anything, that is not gonna be able to get another job or anything. So I think the employers should really take care of that, at least with an insurance policy.
Okay. I want to move to the next slide. Okay. So other comments?
I think it depends on the cause of the injury. Not every one of them is using the employer. Yeah. So, well, I disagree with him because I think it depends on what is the cause of the injury. Like, if it is like a sharpened like object on the floor or something, the driver steps on it, okay, it's the employer's fault. But if the person like keep on walking through a glass door, myself, it's not their fault, Like, that's their own problem. So, yeah.
This is in general. If it's the employee's negligence that leads to the injury, it should be the employee's fault, because otherwise, obviously, the employee, if they're insured, if the company pays everything, there's the incentive to actually behave negligent, which is often not beneficial for the employer, as it will have increased costs for insurance. Like either when the employees will insure more accidents, so the employer pays for everything. Their premiums for insurance will rise, so they'll have higher costs, and then also employees will get laid off. So also not for employees very beneficial that way.
So is that the so-called moral hazard problem?
Yeah.
Okay. Because of health insurance, so some people may be paid negatively in order to claim for compensation. Okay. So this is a very controversial issue. So, for example, how to prove that this is the employer's problem, and why employers should be responsible for all the problems in the workplace. So sometimes it's not fair for employers. Okay. So, but in more cases, employees are more vulnerable actually in that kind of situation. So I will briefly introduce you the concept of worker compensation system, and this is the topic of my research. So I have been studying the worker compensation system, the problem and condition, and how to improve system in Taiwan. So I have been doing some international comparisons, and especially from the European countries. Okay. Just to briefly summarize the development of worker compensation in developing countries, it transformed from the negligency liability to the employee liability to non-fault principle and social insurance. So nowadays, like in Taiwan and maybe in most of the developing countries, we have the social insurance which covers all the compensation for workplace injuries and diseases, no matter no matter the cause of the injuries. Okay. So it's not important to prove that who has more responsibility for that injuries, but the issue is on whether this injury is work related. So to prove that the injuries is work related becomes the main issue. Okay. And once you can prove that the disease or the injuries is work related, then the insurance will cover the loss to compensate the workers' loss. So it's so-called non-fault. It's based on the non-fault principle. And the social insurance is compulsory. So every worker has to be insured by their employer. And the premium, the cost of the insurance is bear by employer. So it's because we think that it is the responsibility of the employer to protect workers. So 100% of the premium is paid by employer. Okay. So the goal, there are 3 goals to achieve by the social insurance system. One is to reduce labor conflict and social cost. So workers, injured workers do not need to go to the court and to sue the employer. So we can reduce conflict and social cost by introducing the worker compensation system. And second, to ensure workers who can receive the compensation in a timely manner. And the third is to protect employers. So the employers will be protected by the social insurance. So once, whenever the injuries or disease occur, the insurance pays the cost, not the employer itself. So this is also a way to protect the company or enterprises from becoming bankrupt. Okay. So there are some principles. One is based on non-fault, and another one is compulsory. So everybody has to be insured if you are employee. Okay. And it's financed mainly by employer, not shared, not like a national health insurance. Everybody has to pay some portion of their premium. The worker compensation, the premium is mostly paid, 100% paid by employers. So in your country, because we have some students from different countries, in your country, are you aware that there is such kind of system? And people, okay. So most countries have this kind of system, right? Okay. So in Taiwan, do we have this kind of system, and what laws, what are the regulations for the compensation? Do you know? That's what I'm asking our Taiwanese students. Do you know which regulation, which law that regulate worker compensation? 劳基法, okay. Labor Standard Act, one, okay. What else? And do you know where people here are not working, but your parents are working, okay? Are you aware that your parents are covered by Labor Standard Act? This is another problem of Taiwan because the Labor Standard Act does not cover all the population. Only 70% of the working population population is covered by Labor Standard Act. So that's another part, okay, the coverage. Okay. So Labor Standard Act, and what else? Labor insurance, 劳保条例, okay, 劳基法劳保条例, what else? Okay, the system in Taiwan is very complicated. We have actually four sets of regulations regulating worker compensation. One is Labor Standard Act, another one is Labor Insurance Act, 劳保条例, another one is complicated, it's called the 时代劳动保护法, and another one is civil law. Okay, so we have four pieces of regulations tackling this problem, and this is the big problem. Okay, in other countries, usually there's just one single regulation covering worker compensation. So we have been dealing with our own problems, a lot of problems to overcome. And then I will just jump to, because of the time limit and the TA have some announcements for you, so I will just go quickly. Just want to show you some statistics. Taiwan here, because it's the topic of my research, we had high fatal occupational injury rate. So it means that the workplace in Taiwan is dangerous because we have high fatality rate as compared to other countries. But in terms of occupational diseases, which occurs along maybe after some exposure of occupational hazard and occurred after some time. So it's more difficult to prove the causal relationship between work and diseases. And in Taiwan, the diagnosis rate, the recognition rate of occupational disease is extremely low as compared to other countries. So I don't know what the number in your country, but it's interesting to do some comparison. Taiwan is very low. So what it means by occupational disease? So this kind of disease does not exist until we have agreed that it does by perceiving, naming, and responding to it. Okay. The social political meaning of occupational disease, the definition of occupational disease is determined by the person who owns the power. So it's kind of a power to diagnose. It's also the power to determine who should be responsible for the loss. So I've been showing this slide again and again to our government people, showing them that Taiwan has very low occupational diseases in absolute number and also by compensation rate. And I'm also doing some study of comparing some Eastern Asian countries, including Japan and Korea, and comparing the trend in compensated occupational diseases and type of occupational diseases recognized by these three areas. Okay. And then I just jump through some questions. Okay. And recently, as you may know, that work stress is a big problem here in Taiwan, and we there are some people who want to claim for worker compensation, and like this case, this is quite famous. This occurred in 2010, last year, 2 years ago. A 29-year-old senior engineer who has no previous disease, who has no risk for cardiovascular disease, and he died suddenly at home while working in front of the computer. And the families argue that this is a case of coercion. And then occupational physician also agree with the argument. And the government at first disagreed with that diagnosis, and later, because of the pressure from the labor group, the government finally agreed, and then to prove that this case is work related, the case will have to prove that he or she has suffered from this kind of stressors, like having work long hours and etc. And when I show this slide to in some international conferences, my international colleagues are all very impressed by this kind of criteria. Okay. Impressed because we are notorious in terms of long working hours. And so these issues, how to recognize work-related cardiovascular disease, is the important policy issues here in Taiwan and also in Korea and Japan. And Taiwan's guideline has is very similar to the Japanese version and also similar to the Korean version. So and then another issue is mental disorder, whether it can be claimed as occupational disease. In general, occupational disease often refers to disease which is primarily due to physical, chemical, or biological factors. So in general, psychiatric or mental disorders are less likely to be compensated as occupational diseases. But nowadays, because of the increased problem of work stress, this kind of disease has been increasingly recognized as occupational diseases in Japan, in Korea, and also in Taiwan. And we know that the mental health problem in mainland China is also a big issue. So I will just end here and just to point out some issues that students might be interested to pursue later. While we are talking about policy intervention, we are mostly talking about issues within the country. But because of the globalization, trend of globalization, we know that many enterprises move to other regions which have low labor costs and less regulation in terms of environmental protection or worker protection. So according to the statistics published by international labor organizations, most of the occupational injuries occurred in China, India, and other Asian countries. And another 1/4 occurred in Latin America and Africa. So how to regulate it? How to regulate enterprise who have moved to other areas? So it's beyond the boundaries, the national boundaries. How to regulate that kind of problem? For example, how to regulate Taiwanese enterprises who had migrated to other countries? Should we advocate corporate social responsibility, or should we try to adapt international labor standards or human rights standards, or can we try to strengthen regulations through trade policy, or should we make some pressure through consumer movements? So these are the things that you might be interested in this area. Okay. So I will end my lecture here, and thank you for listening. And if you have any comments, please, about this issue, okay, please.
I feel issue doctors and so what I know is what about problems about doctors and nurses.
Doctors and nurses. nothing to do with globalization, right? Or it's related? Not, okay. Okay, so, yeah, you are concerned about the working condition and the health problems among the healthcare sector, right? Is that your question?
It's about who,
I'm not sure I understand your question very clearly, so please rephrase. Nurses work, yeah, okay. Who is that? Oh, how to protect them. Okay, so in Taiwan, nurses are covered by Labor Standard Act. So their working hours should be regulated by Labor Standard Act. But in reality, many hospitals do not follow the law, and they are not fined. So the punishment is very minimal. So many hospitals in Taiwan abuse their workers and ask them to work long hours. So nowadays, some nurses are trying to form their own union. So union is important. They try to form a union and to bargain with the enterprises. And also, some people ask the government to intervene. So labor inspection, like here, we need to have good regulation. And then we need to enforce the regulation by labor inspection. So the government has been doing this, sending more inspectors to hospitals. And then in work site, the workers should have a stronger voice. So unions will be helpful to keep a more balanced relationship. Okay. And then there are some other hazards, like violence, bullying, or some misconduct. And this kind of hazard should also be regulated. Okay. And if there is disease or injuries, then there should be some reporting system. So workers should have some channel to report their problem. And if the injuries is not reversible or the injury has occurred, then he or she is deemed for compensation. So this should be the system. But the system is only feasible for own citizens. For example, foreign workers will be a problem, or migrant workers. Or if the enterprises move to other places, then the government cannot do much. So that's another problem. So that's the problem that I'd like to address at the last slide.
I have a question. It's not really related, but if working hours of workers are reduced to not significant, but to some sort of extent it is reduced, will this have a direct impact on the country's economy?
Okay. Is your question that if we reduce working hours, will it hurt our economy?
How would it impact the country's economy?
Okay, I can't really answer the question. I'm not an economist, so there's please. Here.
In Taiwan, or taking Taiwan as an example, are there organizations or in Taiwan, are there organizations or governmental regulations that deal with foreigners working in Taiwan, dealing with their health situation, their safety regulations?
Yeah, you have to mention that there are some NGO, non-governmental organizations in Taiwan who are helping the migrant workers, but they are small group people. You want to say more? Tiwa, okay. So, and then there are many Westerners who are missionaries who had been in Taiwan for a long time, since 1970s. When Taiwan has no Labor Standard Act, they have been here. They established some organizations just to help the Taiwanese workers who suffer from occupational injuries. So we have a lot of good people from Western countries. And now migrant workers, their working condition and their abuse of migrant workers is really a big problem. Yeah. But our local people also have some problems. A lot of Taiwanese workers have nothing. When they get injured, they just stop. So this is the social inequality problem that need to be tackled by policies. Other comments or questions?
There are many multinational companies there. For example, if a Taiwanese company said establish a branch in another country or area, and it provides a very bad working condition for the local employees, and cause a lot of occupational injury or disease that cause a very bad influence on the nation's on Taiwan's image. Will the Chinese government take some measures to regulate this kind of multinational company?
Yeah, multinational companies are often being targeted by consumer groups because they have big brand names, so they can be easily targeted. But I will say that actually many local companies and local enterprises also have problems, and the problem might be more severe as compared to multinational.
So this problem has not been a very big issue in the protection of employees of Chinese government. You mean that? I say that you mean.
I mean that the workers should be educated, and then more unions should be formed, and collective power should be formed. That will be the one of the solutions. This issue is too complicated. Okay, I think the time is up, so TA wants to take over and want to say some housekeeping. Please. Okay, so thank you for your listening, and I really enjoyed